There's no sign out front. No way of knowing it's even here, but tucked behind Bryan Dwight's Lancaster home, in his garage, sits his art studio. In here, though, Bryan doesn't work on your traditional canvases.
It always helps if you don't cut your fingernails a day or two before you do this.
He owns and operates BD's Cycles, a unique business that rarely sees its customers face-to-face, but has served people in 47 states and multiple countries.
Although we don't always meet our customers, we feel like we know a lot of them, and we think they sort of feel like they know us.
Over the last 2 decades, Bryan has perfected the art of restoring and painting old motorcycles, gas tanks, fenders, and side panels.
So it's mostly complete paint restorations on vintage equipment.
Serving in the Coast Guard in the 1990s, Bryan's Type A personality served him well in the military's follow the rules and directions environment. Those traits then merged with a budding hobby.
And I've always liked tinkering on things, messing with cars and motorcycles, and so to learn how to paint was sort of something that, interested me.
Well, he started with me. I was painting bikes in my garage in TUK. And Bryan kind of saw what I was doing. He came over, he started looking at stuff. That was right when he just kind of picked it up and started rolling with it.
I had a buddy at a dealership who reached out to me and said, hey, we've got a job that we need done, an insurance job, would you be interested? Which I did. And then a lady I've known for years came along and said, hey, can you do flames? And I said, well, I can try. So you could do like that.
Bryan learned how to do those flames and picked up all the other skills on internet chat rooms and message boards.
It was definitely a struggle in those early stages. Nowadays, the internet makes it pretty easy for someone to go online, and there's a wealth of knowledge and information there. This is off of a 1960s Ducati, as I recall.
We recently spent a day with Bryan as he took us through the tedious step-by-step process of painting a gas tank on a vintage Yamaha.
We're not going to be repainting the white. We're going to be masking it off using a mask like this to preserve the white that's underneath and spraying the blue and black around it once we get the alignment all correct.
After making sure it's all clean, the first step is to tape an outline of the soon-to-be-painted logo using super thin tape.
You'll see me doing this a lot, picking it up, pulling it up, putting it back down. I'm just going to follow along that line. So now we'll take this pattern to the other side and get the alignment correct and repeat the procedure.
Using a custom-built stand on wheels, Bryan can easily spin whatever he's working on back and forth.
The green tape is protecting the white, which is going to be the white around the perimeter. Everything in here will get blue on both ends. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim about 1/4 inch across the bottom of the Yamaha, which will help me get the alignment correct across there. So that's not technically a sticker because that's coming off, but it's going to protect the white that's underneath it so that when we spray this black and these blue and we peel that back, you have the white 175 underneath it.
It's all the prep work that takes up the most time.
Good news is the hard part is done, really. Now we just need to replicate that on this side, which will only take a few minutes.
He uses paints that you can't get at the local box store. Bryan buys from a dozen different manufacturers, many times mixing his own custom paints because way back when they didn't use paint codes. Constantly checking to make sure it's being applied evenly, the painting is the easy part. But it's not until all that paper and tape gets pulled off that the results become clear. It took a good chunk of the day just to complete the gas tank, and that's just one piece. So it's no wonder Bryan has a back room filled with projects and a 6 to 9 month waiting list for his services.
And it typically takes 5 weeks to do a job once we get started.
He does have some part-time help, but it's hard for him to give up control of certain aspects of the process because he wants everything done just right.
I actually went down there in person and he showed me the process and showed me the work he was doing, and I could tell from the way he was approaching it that he knew what he was doing and I would be comfortable with him.
There's none better out there that I can tell. It's beautiful stuff.
Price-wise, a typical job runs anywhere from about $1,500 up to several thousand, and for the most part, these are hardcore bike enthusiasts.
Almost every one of my customers, if I were to wager a guess, I would say they average 5 or 6 bikes. And I could rattle off a dozen names of people who have 30 or 40 or 50 motorcycles in their collection.
Earning his reputation in the early days through bike shows and trade magazines, and more recently social media, Bryan has developed quite a following. Not too bad for a guy who doesn't even have a sign out front. For Caroline Impact, I'm Jason Terzis reporting.
Thanks for watching, and if you don't want to miss any more great regional stories, please subscribe to our PBS Charlotte YouTube channel.